Salutations, my fellow dudes and dudettes, it's your host Sanic 007 with our new Let's Play of Pikmin. Now, I initially wanted to do another certain Let's Play, which I decided to, swap with this one in terms of scheduling, because that Let's Play in question is going to be a long one, and I mean it's going to be long. And I don't want to immediately jump right back into a game like that after the horrificness that was Tales of Fantasia. So I decided to ease up a little bit, you know, with the two Mega Man games I played, and now we're going to be starting Pikmin. You might have noticed I have this little challenge mode thing here. We'll be getting into that a little later on. But, let's begin. Now, if case of you are not familiar, you know, actually, I'll go into that when we actually start getting into, you know, the game. Okay, so apparently we crash landed. I don't know what the heck happened, but it's like I'm wondering what happened. Like, did the captain get distracted as like the meteor was hitting the spaceship? It's like, oh, I gotta get my coffee. Give me a oh no. My name is Captain Ulma. While traveling through space, my ship was struck by a meteor. I must have blacked out, and I awoke on the surface of a new planet. With so many parts lost, the skeletal hull of my beloved dolphin is a painful sight. The engine is gone. I'm stranded. To make matters worse, my atmospheric sensors indicate this planet's environment contains high levels of poisonous oxygen. Excuse me, I got dyslexic there for a second. My life support systems can function for only 30 days. If I can't repair the dolphin by then, no! Better not to think about it. I must find the missing parts. Okay, so apparently, this Captain Olimar, he crash landed because, again, he was getting his, I guess, morning coffee, and he didn't notice the meteor coming at him. But, just, for some clarity with that weird-ass voice I gave Captain Olimar, if you've played Pikmin 3 and watched, like, the dialogue videos, they gave him a sort of, like, they gave him a very strange voice that, I don't know, it didn't seem like him, so I just try to do what I can to sound like, that voice as much as possible. I probably didn't do a good job, I'll let you guys, judge me on that one, but, anyways, okay, just making sure everything is all set and ready to go. Can move around with the control stick, let's see what this is. A strange thing has appeared before me. I had barely begun my search for it. Well, my search when it reared up as if we were waiting for it. Then I dropped it. Then it dropped a single seed. What is it? Is it alive? Is it a machine? It resembles a vegetable on my home planet that we call an onion. I shall call this an onion too. An onion, you say? Not gonna lie, I'm not a big onion fan. I mean, I can have it, I can have onions every once in a while when some sort of, meal I'm eating, but otherwise, I can't do it. The seed that the onion dropped took root in the soil and has now produced an adorable little sprout. A sprout. It fits a strange light, and it sways back and forth without benefit of wind. I cannot help but think it is calling to me. I am compelled I must approach it and press A. Whatever A is. Alright, so it's telling us to press A, but just real quick, I'm gonna wanna punch these little things. They're called pellet posses. I'll be explaining what they do momentarily. Alright, let's grab this little thing out of the ground. Extraordinary. When I plucked this sprout, it turned out to be a living creature, not a plant. Picking it has done no visible damage. It just stands there, staring at me. Menacingly! Okay, I'm sorry, I had to get my SpongeBob quote out for the day. I haven't had one yet. Its shape is similar to the pick bright carrots I love so much. I believe I shall call it a Pikmin. Here I am, stranded on a toxic planet, fighting to survive. And yet I'm intrigued. I must research this fascinating creature. I shall try to grab it and throw it with the A button, and I will call it to my side with the B button. Perhaps it will react to C and X as well. The following controls appear to allow me several viewpoints. L. Rotate camera. Hold the focus on the cursor. R. Zoom in and out. Z. Change angle. I must survive. I need to familiarize myself with these controls in my surroundings. Okay, what Olimar says is true. Like the L and R buttons are going to be used like your cameras. With the L button, it will basically fix your position so the camera is behind Olimar at all times. That way it'll be easier to, like, you know, see where you're going. Also, with the R button, we can zoom in and out, as Olimar stated. We can have a far view, a close view, or a normal view. I'm going to keep a normal view for the most part, but what does this Pikmin think of me? I must observe its reactions. The more things I try, the more reactions I can count on. Okay, I'm sorry. If you're taking too long to do anything with the Pikmin, it's like you're gonna get that tutorial. I'm just trying to show off the controls, and with the Z button, it basically shifts the camera angle, so it's like that. I think they call it a bird's eye view. Anyway, what you want to do is throw that Pikmin on that pellet, and he will bring it to the onion, and more Pikmin will come out. Astonishing. The onion is shed more seeds. The small red pellet the Pikmin harvested after cutting down a flower appears to be some type of food that can propagate more Pikmin. The onion seems to be a sort of incubator. Needless to say, I must study this strange life form more. So as you can see, whenever you bring one of these pellets to the onion, or any other source of nutrients, I'll be going into that later, throughout this Let's Play, it will produce more Pikmin. So, in that case, I guess I might as well explain the numbers. The numbers will determine, like, how many Pikmin are necessary to carry it, but not exactly how many you'll get from it. Sort of. There are 4 kinds of number pellets. I'm sort of jumping the gun a bit when I'm saying this, because we've actually got a 5 pellet over here that I'm going to actually take advantage of real quick. There are 4 types of pellets. 1, 5, 10, and 20. That will determine how many Pikmin are needed to carry it. 5, 10, and 20 is how many Pikmin you'll get out of the pellet. For some reason, 1 doesn't exactly apply to this, because in this case, if you have the correct... In this case, we're getting 2 Pikmin out of it. I would explain that right away, but again, I don't want to jump ahead of myself. At least with this Let's Play. So, what we're going to do is get all these Pikmin. Bring them over there. Okay, this part is kind of annoying, I'm not going to lie, and I'm so glad the sequels fixed this. When you throw a Pikmin at a pellet posse and they sort of like beat it up in order to get the nutrients, for some reason my Audacity is acting really strangely right now. I have no idea what's going on with that. I'm going to see if I can fix that right now, so give me a moment. Okay, I think I got it under control now. What it looks like, anyway. Yeah, I think I should be okay now. Anyways, as I was saying, we're gonna want to get these... Oh, wrong one. Wrong way. Whenever the Pikmin beat up a pellet, instead of immediately carrying it like I would like them to, they just sort of start running back towards you, which is a little annoying because it does waste a little bit of time. And time is a very important factor in this game. I will be getting into that later as well. Now, when you've got multiple Pikmin sprouts in the ground like this, you just want to rapidly mash the A button so you can get all the Pikmin out faster. Alright, as you can see, we've got this little box here that says 10. It means we requires 10 Pikmin to move it. I already have technically 14 with me, it's just 2 of them are in the ground. And as you can see, the more Pikmin you have, the more things you can, the more tasks you can complete. So, yeah. Pikmin are as curious as children. They form groups to perform tasks that would be impossible for an individual. A glimmer of hope has begun to shine in my heart. If I can make use of their skills, perhaps I can fix my ship. I shall sum up all I've learned of Pikmin conduct. Approaching, press A to pick sprouts. Press A to grab Pikmin. Release to throw. Press B to call them. X to dismiss. Use C to command and control the group. L, R, and Z control perspective. I shall record all of this in my computer. I can press Y to access the computer. Actually, I did forget to bring mention of that. The C stick. Basically, it's going to circle the Pikmin around you. This will allow them to immediately swarm objects when you need the Pikmin to interact with it in some sort of fashion. The X button, however, disbands them. We're going to be getting into how useful disbanding is, what disbanding really does later on in the Let's Play, but for now, it just sort of like makes them idle and they turn a pale red. What's this? Amazing! There was no mistaking it. My ship's engine rests before my very eyes. By a stroke of pure luck, I have already stumbled upon the most important piece of my damaged craft. Fate has smiled upon me, but how will I get it back to the dolphin? Okay, so you know how we were carrying all those pellets back to the onion? The Pikmin can carry these little ship parts too. Unfortunately, as you can see, we need 20 in order to make that possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and get all these pellets that are sort of sitting around. Make this job go a little faster. Well, I'm sorry, make this job possible because, yeah, you can't exactly do that. You can't carry an object with fewer Pikmin than what is required. And I guess I better get into this little fraction thing that's above everything they're carrying. The bottom number is are the amount of Pikmin that are currently carrying the item, whereas the numerator, assuming you know about like numerators, denominators, all that, the numerator is the number that is required. So you want to meet the numerator's quota in order to actually carry the object. Many Pikmin seed sprouts sprout at once. I find it rather tedious to pluck them from the ground individually. My wife always told me I was no good at routine tasks. I guess I'll try to get it all done at once by repeatedly tapping A until I pick all the Pikmin from the ground. I noticed that when I add Pikmin in my group, they become filled with excitement and flush with bright color. At other times, they revert to a paler hue and give off a dim glow. Paying close attention to these differences is bound to help me distinguish between Pikmin. Basically, he was just explaining, like, as I mentioned earlier, you press the A button rapidly in order to get the Pikmins out faster. That's all he was really saying. Alright, so what I'm going to do is get all these Pikmin onto this little ship part, which is the main engine. so let's go ahead and do that. Well, after I get all these Pikmin out. I apologize, this is kind of a bland episode, but we will be getting into the whole, like, we will be getting into the action as the Let's Play continues. It's just that day one is always the most, like, tedious, because it's your tutorial day. It basically just gives you, a way of understanding the foundation of how this game works. So you can, like, fumble around with the controls and whatnot. And all we could really do at this point is wait until, those Pikmin bring, the engine over to the ship. So I guess I might as well explain, my bit of history with this game while they're doing that. Now, I was, when I had my GameCube back in, like, wow, it's been, like, a very long time. The first game I got with my Nintendo GameCube was Sonic Adventure DX, which is one of my favorite games ever. I can't wait to get that in Let's Play. But my mom just sort of randomly picked this game up, and I was like, alright, I'm willing to try. I think at the time I did play Thousand Year Door. So at that point, during that time frame, I was just sort of experimenting with games left and right, and my mom just picked this game up for me, so thought if I liked it. I had a really great time with this game. I sucked massively, but I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was a very nice IP. Oh, glorious! With the help of these Pikmin, I've taken a huge step back toward hope. My ship can once again lift off. The glimmer of hope is beginning to burn more brightly, but what has become of the remaining parts? That search starts tomorrow. Day 1 since it back. I have somehow managed to launch the dolphin, but I was surprised to see the onion lift off with me. Perhaps the Pikmin cannot survive overnight on the planet's surface, or have they merely decided to join me for other reasons? Either way, it seems they will help me again tomorrow. The dolphin is missing 29 parts. If I can't recover them all, I may never return home to my family on planet Hakatate. Analysis shows life support systems will function for only 29 more days. How could I repair my dolphin in such a short time? A dense forest is visible on the surface below. As it holds the key to my survival, I name it the Forest of Hope. I explore it tomorrow. Alright, and at the end of each of your days, you get this little progression thing. At the top there is your total Pikmin population that you currently have. The graph here shows your growth or loss of Pikmin. And then there's, like, the information underneath. How many you sprouted, how many you lost in battle, and how many you left behind. I'll be explaining the whole lost in battle and left behind concept on the next day, during day 2. And then there's the amount of Pikmin we have currently in our onion, how many ship parts we have attached, how many parts we have remaining, and how many days we have left. We do have a time limit, 30 days, 30 ship parts. That's all I really got to say for the time being. This is only day 1. I'm going to save here real quick. So again, I apologize if this is kind of a slow start, but at the same time though, this isn't the only game that does have this problem. I don't think it's as slow as its sequel, but whatever. I'm not too worried about that. Anyways, next time on Pikmin, we're going to be going to the Forest of Hope on starting day 2 of our exploration of this planet. Until then, I gotta juice.